Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to that reselling show. Glad everybody could go ahead and come. For those of you who watch this afterwards, you got a real good one. One of the things we plan on talking about tonight is pricing. Especially as there are a lot of new resellers, with what's going on in the country right now. So we have, people who don't necessarily understand pricing. So we need to help them, and educate them. And so this way they're doing the right thing and they're not, leaving money on the table. With that, I'm one of your gracious hosts, Thrifting Goomba Michael. Thank you very much for coming. To my right is Mr. John.
Hello, everyone. I'm trying to get my chat pulled up, and I'm being attacked by a freaking fly. Hope everyone's doing good today. My name is John, and I am from Show Me Pickers, formerly Nevermore Antiques, though I still have an antique store called Nevermore Antiques. I am 41 years old, and I live in Missouri, and I sell stuff for a living.
You like what? Long walks on the beach? I mean,
I love long walks. I'm a hopeless romantic. I love Jesus, and I've watched The Notebook 15 times last week.
Did you cry?
Well, I cried the first 14 times, and by the time I get to the 15th,
you were numb.
I'm kind of cried out.
Big O.
What's up, everybody? I'm Oscar El Cubanaso. I'm one of the bad boys of reselling. I also sell stuff occasionally. I'm a part-time reseller. I sell on Amazon, sell on eBay, sell on Mercari, and I'm especially excited about this topic about pricing. I think it's a very good topic that I don't think we've talked about or even briefly, maybe not even mentioned in any of our previous episodes. So I'm excited to jump right in and, bounce a couple ideas off you guys and see what everybody in the chat also has to, put into the conversation, or should I say intercourse?
Intercourse.
Yes. So shout outs. Hey, Alex.
You guys could do better,
sir. Storage. Thank you for showing up. Jennifer Hayes, best mom in the business. Thank you. Glad everybody could go ahead and be here. And what made me think about this is, there's a lot more people getting into reselling. And I had a product that I can go ahead and find that sells on a regular basis. Now, not regular in that it sells, 10 times a day, but, it sells, every other day on a consistent basis. And it was going for a good price. It was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about, $30, $32, give or take, consistently. Boom. Every day. And I found some the other day, and all of a sudden I go to look and somebody has it listed for like $20, free shipping. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? I mean, it's like, I don't understand, what possesses, people to go ahead and do that. I can understand of wanting to be the low person. I can understand wanting to be the person that, because, hey, I want to sell. But I think as a new reseller, I think what winds up happening is you get in that mindset of is I had this for 2 days and it hasn't sold, because you don't understand that things take time to sell. So what happens is you're like, oh my gosh, my stuff isn't selling. Well, there's one way to go ahead and sell stuff fast, and that is drop the price as low as I feel comfortable with. And it really affects, everybody else down the line, because then the next new reseller sees it and they do the same thing. And you have to wait for all those people to sell out before you're really where the market should be with it. I mean, that's what I've seen. Oscar, what about you? Have you seen that type of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if I was going to give advice to anybody who believes in that strategy of dropping their price so low, I guess my recommendation to them would be for them to drop it below their cost of goods and include shipping in there, and then to send me the link. That way I can buy all of that product, right? It's not uncommon but we all see that type of behavior from, you know, not just the item that's hot. I mean, regular items all the time. You're going to see that there's going to be one that's like sold in the comps, you know, that's like a ridiculous amount. Is like, how do people even make money? But I think that what will be best is, you know, to try to talk about what some of the strategies were to be pricing. So if I can, if I may, if I put in, you know, my 2 cents about, you know, talking about just the eBay listing, right?
3 cents.
3 cents. Okay.
I want 3 cents worth.
All right. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put in my 4 cents, right? All right. And we're gonna start with the beginning of the first. The first cent is always gonna be, you know, you gotta have quality images on that listing, right? Because that's gonna be what makes it most attractive, you know.
Right.
Second, you know, you're gonna have to have a captivating title, right? You're gonna call attention with the title as well. You know, basically, it's gonna summarize what it is that you're selling. And third, you're gonna have a detailed description, right? But the fourth, my 4 cent is gonna be is you gotta keep a competitive price. Now, what does a competitive price mean to everybody? You know, I'm asking, how do you guys see competitive pricing?
I mean, so to me, I mean, I think looking at two different things. I understand there's different business models out there, but to me, when you look at it and you're trying to come up with a competitive price, see what it's being sold for on a consistent basis. You know, and if you say, well, I really want to sell mine because I'm new and I'm afraid and so on and so forth. Okay, I get that. But if something's going for $30 on a consistent basis, don't go to 20. You know, go to $28.99. I mean, why lose all that money there? You know, I mean, I mean, competitive is relative. I think, you know, to what each person's business model is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you're someone who needs a high ROI, then obviously you can't charge, you know, pennies on a dollar for, you know, for an item. You know, what do you think, Johnny?
Well, whenever I mean, I want to know where I'm going to be at on the item before I buy it. Obviously, we all do that. So I'll run a eBay fee calculator on it, and I'll be like, well, you know, if the cost of goods minus your eBay fees, shipping, and stuff like that, what's my profit going to be on that? Because then I know if I have any wiggle room. I don't want to buy a widget. Like, say if I have to buy this horse here, and I know that the horse sells for like $3, and or $30. I'll use some big numbers, and I have to pay 20 for it. I know that if I have to drop the price on it, that's the horse went out. And if I have to drop the price on it, there's not a whole lot of room. So I'm not going to go real deep on it. But what I think some of these people do is that they don't do all of this processing. They don't see what their fees are going to be on it. They don't see what the return is, like how fast does it sell, what's the turn on it, how many are sold, how many are listed. And then they get it and they just get scared. And then they want to dump the goods on the market. And what that does is completely trend down the whole price. And for me, it's just an issue of I don't do a whole lot of retail arbitrage. But if I list a used item, I have a list it and forget it mentality. I put it on there and I will list it and I will put it at a fair market value determined by condition. I list it. I forget about it. I even have my listings. If you watch this item, I'll probably send you an offer on it. So watch the item. And that's how I handle it. So my business model is a little bit different. I don't do a lot of Amazon. I don't do hardly any RA on eBay. So that's the way I deal with it, which is going to be a little bit different because I mainly deal in mostly used goods. I sold somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's see what most everything. I sold one bottle of perfume today for $130, and I paid $2 for it in a estate sale. So that's the stuff that I'm accustomed to. Yeah, I'm sitting on I'm sitting on $1,000 in sales today. I had no idea what I almost said a bad word because I wasn't expecting to see $1,000, but that's where I'm sitting because all I've been doing is getting back to my roots lately, listing. But anyways, that's how I list stuff, determined by what I think I can get of it. I don't race to the bottom on anything. I've still got $1,500 worth of Monopoly for millennials. That's my retirement fund.
Thing's gonna be an antique.
Yeah. So hey, while we got some people here, some more facts. Some more, that's not. We already know who that guy is. Where'd he go? Louis, Lone Star Picker. Thanks for stopping in. Where OSP.
Lone Star Picker said,
thanks for showing up. Money from Mars, Music 55. E-Will, how you doing?
Yeah, Lone Star Picker said, fair market value. Those words can range differently from business model to business model. My idea of fair market value of an item is the current trending price. Like, you can be below fair market value. You can be above fair market value. Right now, if you bought a swimming pool in the past 2 months, you're probably paid way above fair market value for that. But if I buy an item, and for me, like, I could be using the word wrong, but for me, the fair market value of an item is the trending price on eBay, the current trending price.
Well, I don't think that's. I think you have fair market value, which is one thing, but then I think you have the market value. I mean, the market sets the price,
right?
You know, what is something worth? It's very simple. It's worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. That may be $1, that may be $200, or it could be anywhere in between. You know what I'm saying? So it's that's what it is. I think the problem you have is when you get a new seller, what they wind up doing is I think they get money scared, and they don't. You know, I think they watch a whole bunch of videos, right? And somebody does a what sold video. Somebody does a hey, this is what I bought stuff. They do this stuff, right? So they see somebody do a video and they see that there was, somebody sold, 15 items. Well, they see that video. They don't realize that video is maybe 3 weeks worth of sales or 4 weeks worth of sales. So they're thinking if I list it, I should be selling it fast, fast, fast. And I think what happens is they get money scared, and all of a sudden they say, oh my gosh, I got to get my money back. Let me go ahead and lower the price.
And it doesn't help that some YouTubers are not being truthful when they're talking about stuff that they've sold. I mean, not everyone's that way, but I always look if someone, you don't really see it that much anymore because so many people, there's not really a whole lot of traditional YouTubers left that were doing the way YouTube videos for eBay were done, like even 2 years ago. Where you would sit down, you would be more like what we're doing here. This is a nod to the days gone by. But like you'll see people, I mean, they'll talk about how much they sell, and necessarily when you go check their eBay accounts, you don't see the numbers correlate, and that can give a false impression too. So you got to be careful. You got to consider the source where you're getting the information from. If your guy's making more money on YouTube ad revenue than he's making selling on eBay, then that might be fun to watch for entertainment, but that's definitely not the guy that you need to be getting your information from. That guy would be down below, but he won't make YouTube videos because he's too busy reselling. That guy would make amazing YouTube. But so that's what I see.
Yeah, I definitely got the videos in the pipeline, so bear with me.
The pipeline's up in Nebraska though, and he's all the way down in Florida. So
I'm down in the tip of South Florida. So
no, but I think
going off of what Mike was saying a minute ago, the value of the items that are being sold, the buyer is always going to put into that item, right? So I mean, it falls onto the reseller to do a little bit of product research, and there's a number of tools that resellers can use. Not just looking at comps. You can compare what the MSRP is. You can see what's trending. You can use the TerraPeak product research tool that eBay offers. So there's a number of things. So unfortunately, I think that the new resellers they get a little bit too anxious. I agree. They get a little bit too anxious and they're sitting on these products and they just want to move it. Maybe it's to move on to the next, but sometimes being patient is what ends up paying off. Like I remember that I had items listed that were like $750, right? They were selling for like $439. Before they were $439, they were selling for $1,200, right? So we're going to talk about the spas, the Sally spas. That were on Amazon. They were listed for $1,200. The price got tanked ridiculously low, like $400, where you couldn't even make a profit because it cost $350 at Walmart. right? But you holding on to them for a little while, that price came right back up, and they were moving for $750, $800 when finally there was a margin. So some people, that maybe haven't experienced that before, haven't experienced enough of reselling to know that, sometimes prices do bounce back up and down. It tends to be once everybody that tanks that price has already sold out.
Right.
The only ones that are left in stock are the ones that held onto their stock. And and there's a couple people that that I know that have held down on decent items, very, very good items. We were talking about the pools, right? The pools took a little dip for a minute, but they end up going right back up, and they were consistently selling. So, it just takes me, a little bit of patience and not getting so anxious, about wanting to move the product. Like, just want to say one more thing on this topic right here, like specifically holding on to items. So we all know that like around March and April, the Nintendo Switches were pretty much nowhere to be found, right? But Nintendo Switches were selling for around $850. $850. People were paying $650, $700. It was crazy when it's an item that's $299 in the store, but you couldn't find them in store. So there goes that demand. People that were able to get their hands on some were making a decent amount of money. Now you can find them once in a while. You come across one. When you do come across one, you buy it, you try to sell it now, you're not going to make much, you're not going to make much. The price will come back down. But, someone that can kind of has seen the patterns around Christmas time is able to tell you that consoles sell very well. So if you're able to get, some Nintendo Switches around this time and you have enough patience, then you're able to invest, that amount of money into Nintendo Switches, a number of them, stockpile them, around Christmas time, you're definitely going to get, decent money, because if you can only find one or two when they restock online, or you come across like 3 in a store, even though they only sell you 2, you hold on to those, come Christmas time, it's going to be worth it. But
they had a couple of them at my store the other
day. Yeah. You find 3 in a store, you buy one, you send your son to go buy the other one, and then you send your daughter to go buy the other one.
Now you don't know that.
And you get 3.
You put on a mask. You walk in. You change your voice a little bit. You put on this like mustache, right? You walk to the store. You like squint one eye.
Yeah. I guess if you change your mask, maybe change your T-shirt and a mask. Who knows? Maybe nobody will pay attention.
Yeah, you change
your glasses.
You change your regular mask.
Yeah.
And then you go back to your car and you get like one of the N95 masks. Right. Like the cool breeze.
Well, you get like the mask that John has over his over his left shoulder.
Yeah, right here. You pull one of them on. Go in and be like, Can I get some of them Nintendo
switches?
Light switches or whatever they're called. I need 2 of them. 2.
But yeah, I think, John, you made a good point of is that, when you're looking at pricing, you do there is a big difference between pricing a used item versus pricing a brand new item. Obviously, other than what do you want to call it? Let's say new stuff that there is a lack of stock out in the wild per se, and you're able to go ahead and buy something brand new, for $4 and sell it for, $29. Most of the time, if that's the new stuff you want to look for, because does it pay to buy something new for 20 to sell it for 28? You know what I'm saying? If that's like what the going price is on it is, but to find something that's used, like you said, and to find something for $2 and wind up going ahead and selling it, for $50-$60. That market, I think, is different when it comes to pricing, but I still think you need to do your research. Right. You know what I'm saying? The research to pricing is key. I think people look and there's good pricing and there's bad pricing, right? But then everybody thinks bad pricing is just bad pricing on the low side. It's not. Bad pricing is pricing on the high side because you see something listed, and what happens is you list it for that high price, and then you don't understand why your stuff isn't selling.
Right.
So pricing, You can price too low and lose money. You could price too high and let your stuff just sit there forever, and then really wind up having issues and wondering why is my stuff not selling. But because you have it listed for 100 and it's only consistently selling for 60. No one's gonna buy it for 100 unless you get that one person who doesn't care. The first listing they see, whatever, boom, they hit it and they do buy it now. That's pretty much the only way.
Yeah, I think that one thing I would suggest to people when they're actually doing their research, and it's worth a shot. I know I do it sometimes. Depends on the item. It's like when you're going through the comps and you're going through the solds, just take a look at the last 10 items that sold the highest, right? Take those, and it has to be the same item, obviously, the same exact item, whether if it's a new item or a used item, just make sure it's the same exact item, that the UPC matches is a new item, whatever. Take the last 10 and then, add those up, right? Totals, and then divide it by 10. You're probably going to get something in the ballpark between the highest and the lowest of those 10, and that's probably a price that would make sense to a lot of people. But then you also have to take into consideration when you're looking at those 10 to make sure you're paying attention if they're charging for shipping or they're offering free shipping, before you make that decision. That's one of the things that I would say to a new reseller who's looking at comps and trying to figure out pricing on any item.
And you make a good point there. All right. I mean, I know pretty much everybody in the chat is an experienced seller, but if there's a new person that watches this, okay, shipping isn't free.
Right.
There's no such thing as free shipping.
Mm-hmm.
You build it, either you charge shipping or you build it into your price. That's why sometimes you will see a discrepancy. Why does this guy have something for $30 free shipping and this person has something for $20 plus shipping? Because at the end of the day, that shipping is probably about $9 or so. So the price is very, very close. There is no such thing as free shipping. Get it out of your head.
Yeah, the free part is something that they use to entice a buyer to buy.
Yes.
Should be pretty much charging shipping or shipping is included in the price.
Yeah. So when you being that is part of pricing, how do you guys work that into your pricing? Does the product decide whether or not it's free? You give free shipping, or are there any other factors that you may use as to why you may do free shipping?
Whenever I do shipping on an item, it depends. It depends on what rate that it's going at. Typically, I find that I'm able to make a perceived value by lowering my shipping and charging a little bit of something for shipping. Like if I do, say if shipping's going to be $9 on the item and I charge $6, but I build in an extra $1 in the cost of the item, so I'm really only losing $2, which I'm fine with that on shipping, then I'll make the sell quicker than the person that charges everything, loads everything up front, or tries to charge that full price on the back end. And that's just, I mean, you can do that. That you can work that into your advantage also on first class stuff. Say if it costs $4 to ship a first class item, you can charge $4.75. And they're not going to know the difference between $4 and $4.75. So you can actually load an extra 75 cents worth of profit because they don't know actually what it's going to cost to ship that item. So you could do a whole show on pricing your shipping and how you do shipping. I don't want to get too deep in that because that might be a good topic that we run with down the road. But shipping, for me, it just determines by the item. If it's new, typically it's free shipping, but it's not free. As you said, it's built into the cost of the goods. And if it's used, I'm more likely to do not free shipping on that item because more than likely it's not going to be something that's bundled. And again, I don't really want to get too deep into that, but if you're selling new merchandise, people are more likely to buy more than one than say if you're selling 2 used items. So there's different ways. I mean, if it's something that like we were talking about that lid thing that I was selling earlier. Now with something like that, you might charge shipping if you can figure out what your profit you want on that item. then you can charge shipping, and then you can say the first item is $10 plus $2.99 shipping and handling, and then 50 cents thereafter. You know, that's an exhaustive topic. You could literally talk about that for an hour.
Yeah, no, definitely. We can definitely go into that because the one that I use lots of strategies for shipping on is with Amazon. Sometimes, and just really quickly, so I create shipping templates for specific ASINs. So we can definitely. But me, typically, I sell a lot of new items. There's very few used items that I sell. So most of my items, they're gonna be with free shipping. However, there are some new items like I have like PlayStation 4 bundles now. That is a heavier item, and the box is printed in Spanish. So I don't want to, I don't want to offer shipping included, free shipping on that one, because I don't want somebody to receive it and say, "Oh, I didn't know that it was in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish," and then they return it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I end up losing on that, but
Does the console? The console don't talk, but is it the language?
Spanish, yes, fluently.
Yeah, does the console like "Ole mi amor"?
PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Ole, ándale.
Please insert the guacamole for continued gameplay.
Incluye una suscripción
una subscription 3 meses a PlayStation. I don't know. It's about as good as I get.
No, see, so with me, when in my pricing, with shipping or not shipping, a lot of times, heavier items, I do prefer to charge shipping on, but I really look at the product itself and see what the comps are showing. Mm-hmm. And if most of the comps are showing with shipping, then I will typically go ahead and do the same. This whole thing about, you do free shipping. I only do free shipping, and it's funny. And I look at different, resellers, and, there are some, they charge shipping on every single thing, and they seem to be, doing well. They don't, they don't charge, they don't have free shipping. They have shipping built in and everything, and it was, people, when it came to pricing, people were saying, shipping in your price or free shipping. And somebody said, well, when I go ahead and I search, I only search for free shipping. And I said, well, that makes no sense, because you could be paying more money. Why wouldn't you search by lowest price? Because at the end of the day, what do you care whether you're paying shipping? You're paying shipping one way or the other. But why spend $30 when at the end of the day you could have spent $27 because this person charged shipping and the other person didn't charge shipping? So like I said, so with me, I like to go ahead and, like I said, a lot of times the product itself will help whether or not I have shipping in my pricing built in as a free shipping, but I like charging shipping. I don't see anything wrong with it, but I think from a pricing perspective, and you have to do you.
I know the post office likes to charge for shipping, so I do too.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people that they charge shipping, like Jordan, for example, My Flipping Life, all of his items, all of them charges shipping. All of them, and it goes and it works for him. It's just depends on the product. You gotta look at the comps and see what they're selling, and then it depends on the product. And some people, they'll go ahead and they'll be like, all right, instead of leaving this listing with standard shipping, I'll charge an extra I'll charge $5.95 on top of whatever existing shipping cost they had already cycled into the price, and then change that from standard shipping over to expedited shipping, for example. You know what I mean? So, but again, we can go a whole day on, a whole show for just, shipping strategy.
So Music 55 has a question. What is fixed price shipping? Landshark, because Landshark says he used fixed price shipping. Basically what that means is that he has business policies set up to where he has a set shipping price, everybody pays the same price. So if he's shipping first class items, he may have $4.99, and no matter what it is, it's $4.99. So if he happens to send something from Alabama and he sends it to Seattle, where that may cost $5.78 because of shipping, the customer would only pay $4.99. He may eat the rest there. But if he turns around and says something to Florida, which it's $2 and probably 78 cents or so, or $3, and he charges $4.99, he gets the extra money that way. So that's what your flat shipping is. If I explained that correctly, which I think I did.
Do it all over again. Do it again. It wasn't clear.
So
do it in reverse.
There
You didn't do it? There you go. Now you got it.
Oh,
Understood. I can read the box in Spanish.
Yeah, I can't read anything in Spanish. I can't even. I used to be able to read, like pronounce stuff, but I can't even do that anymore. Yeah, it's Español, por favor. Sí.
sí,
Huh?
sí, ok, sí.
Gracias.
El precio tiene que ser más alto del costo del producto, obviamente, ¿eh? Porque si no, no vas a ganar dinero, simplemente.
Agreed. I agreed with whatever he just said.
Gracias.
I believe my man so much that if he speaks in a language that I don't know what it is, I'm going to be like, he's right. That's what you do to your friends. You support them no matter what.
That's what's up.
And you have faith in him that he ain't saying that the fat guy with the funny looking beard has a small nose.
Brain.
So when you're looking at pricing, and we talked about factors of what the comps are along those lines. What do you do or do you price different if there is a little, if the competition is smaller, or what if it's something that you happen to find and you can't find it listed? So let's go to the first one first. So you find something, there's not a lot of competition, and you see that item sells kind of quickly. Where are you in the pricing versus, the competition?
So to answer that question, you first have to think about, I think, what influences, the pricing, right? So it depends on the item, whether it's something that is trending and something that is in demand. There's a lot of different factors that would, you can base your decision on. I think that if it's something that has a lot of people on the listing and is selling consistently, you need to see how many sellers, and you can do that directly from your eBay. You got to look at how many sellers are actually selling that product versus how many have sold that product in the last 90 days and base your decision on that. So if you see that there's let's say 20% difference between the amount of sellers that are selling the product and the amount of sold. So let's say you have 1,500. Let's not use 20%. Let's use 30%. So let's say there's 1,500 of an item that's sold, right? Let's just make it easier with the numbers. 1,500 items sold in the past 90 days. And there's 500 people selling that item. That's a good indicator that the item is selling well, right? So you're going to want to price competitively. You're going to want to price competitively in a sense that you're not under the majority of the sellers, but at the same time, you're not going out of reach where you're not going to be competitive. Your price is not going to get sold because the market trend can change at an instant. You know what I mean? From one day to another, that 500 amount of sellers can turn into 800.
Right.
And as new people come on, a lot of people tend to compete with that trending rate of promoted.
Right.
And your listing ends up going farther and farther down the list. So I would go by the last 10 sales of the same exact item, last 20 sales, if they're all within a certain range, and I would list, competitive to those listings, those last listings that sold. Make sense?
Yeah.
Did I answer the question?
I believe you did, but I'm not the judge of that.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, for me, I don't normally sell new stuff, so I sell used stuff. So if I look on WorthPoint, it's not there. If I look on Terapeak, if it's not there, and if there's nothing on eBay, and then I start searching some of the auction sites, and if I find absolutely nothing on it, I have two choices. One is put it on eBay for an auction, or two, look for something similar, price it accordingly, and you can sit on it forever. And then I have 1,600 items listed, so I forget. And then I never go back and readjust my prices on it because eBay decided to put good till canceled on their stuff, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous because I used to end my items would end. I would revamp the listing before I relisted. I would go through and clean up titles and lower the price. But now
you got to remember to do it on your own.
Yeah. Well, now you've got to. I mean, I just don't. That's the problem, and that I just don't because I don't make time for it. So that's how I mean, you would either, like I said, put it on auction if it's an antique and let the market set the value, or two. But number one is dependent on how much you know about the item. If there's no maker mark, if there's no maker's mark, if there's no information about it and it's just a widget. The other day I bought a set of World War II women's aviator glasses with green lenses because the person didn't know what they were called, and I paid $10. And the reason why I knew what they were called is because I knew how to do the research, and I had a pair that I was listing, and I listed mine for $65. So, I mean, that's the problem. So you just have to pick a path and go with it, I guess. That's where I find that Facebook groups, you can find a Facebook group for the type of item that you have, go on there, post it, and ask for advice. Ask for the name, who made it, what it is, what do they think the perceived value is. But beware of people that are like, oh, it's worth $5. Would you sell it to me? No.
Yeah, I think that's, one of the things you have to be smart about, is, looking, don't just look in one spot. eBay, yes, you may. So if your focus is on eBay, that's where you're doing all your selling and everything. That is all fine and dandy. That is great. But that doesn't mean that that's where that should be your only source of knowledge to know how to price your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You need to use different other avenues. You have to be able to, figure out where else you can go ahead and look. And the truth is, when the bottom line comes to everything, if you're not sure, you don't know different sites, you use the biggest site that everybody uses, Google. Well, yes, you can use Walmart, but you can use Google first, and maybe follow up with Walmart.
I mean, we're talking about doing product research. I mean, I say that because I do a lot of retail arbitrage, right? So I'll tend to look and see what the item is selling on Walmart, and if it's selling on Best Buy, if it's selling on Target, like what big box stores is that item particularly that I'm selling at? And if it shows that it's out of stock at any or all of those, obviously I'm going to price much higher than that MSRP, right?
Correct.
So I like to look outside of eBay as well. I don't just stick to the comps. I like to see what the item's selling for. Obviously, if I bought it at Walmart, I know what I bought it for at clearance on Walmart. But if it's also available at other stores, find other stores, and Google search is definitely a good way to do that. I type in the UPC in the search bar and see what comes up.
Yeah, I always do that too. And I don't know what I'll do that a lot of times to figure out what words people are using in the title, and then maybe copy and paste that into the search to see if more comes up. Because not everybody puts a UPC in, right? So that's something like when you're doing your comps to do your pricing, and you scan, you go okay, and you scan something, you hit the UPC, and you're like, oh my gosh, there's only 4 of these listed. When I look at sold, holy cow, there's a whole bunch sold. Wow, this is a great product. I should get it, and I should price it, somewhere in between all four of those sellers. But then when you find out is you actually type in the words, and all of a sudden you went from 4 listings to 38 listings. Well, now you have now your pricing may have to change. So you don't just price on a whim. Don't just price on the first search. Do multiple searches. Check different things. To better yourself with a better price, to put yourself more competitive. And again, it's really, it's about leaving money on the table. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, and I understand, a lot of people go, well, a seasoned reseller is going to know a lot more than a new reseller. You're right. But here's what you need to do, people. You need to go ahead and you need to talk to those new resellers, and you need to tell them that they need to check out that reselling show, because we're the ones that are going to help those new resellers to become established resellers, because they're going to keep doing it for longer than getting in and then going, oh my gosh, I can't make any money. I'm selling all my stuff for pennies on a dollar just to go ahead and get out. So
we're gonna
tell
start,
all your friends.
We're gonna start a price high movement, and then we're gonna put all of our Facebooks and all of our Instagrams in the description of this video, so that everybody can contact us when they're having their thoughts. This is like a helpline, right? When they're having thoughts about tanking that price because they're not getting any views, call 1-800 price high. But no, seriously, it's after a couple of days, you see that you're not getting, movement, or you're getting views, you're not getting watchers on a certain product. There's nothing wrong with lowering that price down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See if it helps, Maybe you're not getting views at a price that you have listed for $29.99 because the majority of the other sellers are selling it at $25.99.
Right.
For example. So,
well, I mean, the thing is, the other thing is, there is no reason, and no real good reason to sell anything at a loss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now you may say, my God, I've had this forever. I've had this listed in my eBay store for, a year and a half. That doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you should go ahead and sell for a loss. Nobody wants to sell for a loss. I mean, price your items the way they should be priced. And if you price competitive, and if you're smart about, pricing is one thing. But if people can't find your stuff, it doesn't make a difference what price you have. You could be the lowest price person. If nobody can find your stuff, it ain't selling. So pricing is a key piece that makes you stand out versus the other resellers. But if people can't find your stuff,
it's part of my 4 cents.
That's part of your 4 cents. It all comes right back around. But I think when you price things, again, I've heard some people go, I will only price stuff if I could make X off of it. And if that's the way you're going to have that mentality, then your pricing really starts when you're buying, not after you purchased. You have to know what you're going to sell it for before you go ahead and give somebody money for that product, whether it's at the garage sale, whether it's at Walmart, whether it's at, John's antique store, whatever it may be. You're going to make your money when you buy the item, not when you sell the item. Your pricing will help you, but you're going to make your money when you buy, because if you don't buy well, pricing really does not matter, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, you've got to be able to get it as cheap as possible. You can't be afraid to go out there and make deals. That's the reason why I like buying stuff to sell on eBay that's not new, because new at a price point. You can't go to Walmart and be like, hey, I see you got this Nintendo for $300. Would you take $250 for it? Because I got cash. They're going to say, nope, we're not going to take your offer. That's what you got to give for it, and that's what you're going to pay. But you're right, but there's other things that you can do when you're doing retail arbitrage. You can use credit cards with cash incentives and all kinds of stuff. A lot of ways. That'd be another good show. Another great show.
But
You
I
make
think,
money by buying stuff.
yeah, but
I've made
Yeah.
almost $9,000 through PayPal with spending that much money on my PayPal card. Now you're only getting like 1 to 1.5% cash back. Imagine how much I've bought. I've almost spent $1 million on my PayPal card just, and got a bunch of money back.
yeah,
Rakuten too. If you're doing online arbitrage and you're using your Rakuten together with
that's right, man.
your cashback credit card or whatever,
I know.
you put those two up. And
Yeah.
then Nate gave me a really good tip too. You can even go so far as add to that, because you can go to raise.com and you can buy digital gift cards. Use your Rakuten on the digital gift card, and you're buying the gift card at a discounted value. So there's a number of things that you can do to work with cashback. So definitely that will be another interesting episode for sure.
No, Louis, that's not the way we're going to go ahead and find stuff. Do not. I know what Louis is saying. People, we don't shop other people's carts.
That's what you do at the Goodwill bins. You shop other people's carts. That's what people think they can do in my cart.
But
and then I start speaking to them in gibberish. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, what? I'm like,
Tasmanian devil showed up. But Alex said something where he said about an established reseller, you can stand less, make less profit per item because your operation can handle it. Very, very true. I think there's two different things. There's one thing of being a lowballer. Okay, that's the person who that's to me a lowballer. Being a lowballer is not a business strategy.
Hey, I watch people's items on eBay and I lowball them to see if they accept.
No. I mean you as a lister.
I gotta be honest. Oh, as a lister.
Okay. Hey, look. I do the exact same thing.
No, you do. That's why I was like,
hell yeah. I mean, as a lister, if you want to go ahead and buy a product and everybody's selling it for $30, don't be a lowballer and throw it out there. And I think there's a difference between, doing that and, like I was saying, taking less of a margin. Taking less of a margin doesn't mean having a price that's $10 lower than the going price. Taking less of a margin means that I'm selling somewhere around, maybe I'm only I'm $8. I'm only, I'm saying I'm only $2 less than the going price. So rather than being $10 less, I'm only $2. So but I'm still making less profit, but I'm not going ahead and killing the price, because one thing I think you have to understand is once one seller starts to do it and another seller starts to do it, if it's a popular item, then that's where it's going to stay for a while.
mm-hmm.
And you have to be able to wait, like you were saying before. You have to be able to wait. And I think, like I said, that's what I was saying about the thing about, I get, you people, they get money scared. If someone's saying, well, I go to a Walmart clearance and I buy these for $3 and I bought 30 of them. Okay. You spent $90, right? It's different than if you go and you're buying, like you said, a spa, and you're dropping X number of dollars on that spa. Now you're sitting there and sitting in the corner and you're constantly looking at it going, another day went by, right? And that's like, oh my gosh, I have that big dollar sitting there. Very different, again, strategy type thing. But I think there's a difference between a low baller and someone who is pricing because they want to generate the funds quicker.
Right.
Because that's their business model. I don't have a problem with that if people are consistent there.
I mean, if you want to lowball, do it through the freaking make an offer to watchers. Give an incentive at least for people to watch your stuff. I mean,
good idea.
That's my philosophy. If you're going to try to give your stuff away, give it away to at least the people who are willing to take the time to hit the watch button,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Or you can just contact me. My name is John Johnson. My email address is showmepicker79@gmail.com. And we'll work out a deal, and I'll buy your stuff below retail cost, and then I will sell it and set on it.
Yeah, and I'll go half with him.
Half. Nice job.
I'll split it 3 ways. No, but I think another thing, and I think that this is kind of what Alex was touching on too. It's when somebody is able to take that, or you just finished mentioning too, that person that is going to take the $8 instead of taking the 10, 9 times out of 10 these are people that have quantity. And if you're able to flow that product at a rate that's very, very fast, like I'll give you an example. In the past couple of days, I've sold a lot of Amazon Fires, right? So those tablets, and everybody was selling them at $59.99 when I was at $57.95, but I had quantity. I had 30 of them, so I'll take those $2 to be able to get my money and then reinvest it in another product. You know what I mean? It's not significant, my profit margin was definitely still there at the price that I got them at, but I'm not taking a significant loss. I was competitively priced.
Right.
That's
right. And I think, go ahead, John.
No, I was just going to say that's the reason I'm going to stand up, because I can only set for so long. Plus, I'm going to show off my awesome Jackie and Sarah shirt.
I didn't know you were sitting.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of short, but it's funny because if I'm setting or if I'm standing, I'm almost the same height, because just a quick stupid John story, because I got to tell one every show. Whenever me and my friends used to go eat at the Mexican restaurant, one of the guy made an observation one time. He goes, "John," I go, "What?" He goes, "You're the same height as everyone else when you're sitting down." I said, "Shut up." He goes, "When we stand up, why are you like a foot shorter than everyone?" I said, "Because," I ain't gonna say what I said, but we're gonna just say that it was because, God ran out of material when he got to my legs. But anyways, yeah. So back to you, Mike.
No, you're doing great.
I'm doing fantastic. I don't remember what I was talking about. I stood up because
be here all night. Tip your waitress.
Yeah, tip your waitress. If you drink minimum, I'll be here all night. No, but I stood up because I'm getting old. But you're right. That's just why I like buying used stuff. I mean, I'm sorry. I no problem with the retail arbitrage, and I know. There's so much money, especially with like frickin' the COVID stuff has really made it really profitable. But at the end of the day, I like finding stuff out there in the wild that can just they're just home runs. That's my business.
No, but to your point, like you said before, I mean, it is definitely harder to price stuff that there's not a lot out there of. Right, because you don't know what the mentality is. Do you take hell, I'm just going to go ahead and price it high and let it sit there. There are people who have that. And I think there's a very big difference there between an item when you research it and it's, you're finding it at a garage sale, at an auction, at an estate sale, something, you're not finding a lot of, versus, a brand new item that a lot of people have. So I think from a pricing perspective, that's two very different philosophies. You can't, in my opinion, you can't have the same pricing philosophy between those two, because if you're saying, well, I want to make, I want to at least get a 50% ROI. Well, you don't really want to do that on a used item. If you're going to do that on a used item, holy cow. I mean, now I'm not saying on every single used item, but most of the time on a lot of used items, if you're buying it, if you're saying I got to make half my money and you buy it for $1, you're not going to sell it for $1.50 if everybody else is freaking selling it, for $25.
Nah, though that ROI is going to be close to like 15,000, 50,000. It all depends on the item. Like, here, let's use this. I'm gonna sell this fish, right? I want to fry this fish, right? It's made of ivory. It's not really made out of ivory, okay? But I'm gonna sell this, right? And I go look for this, and there's none listed. I paid $1 for it. I'm not gonna list it for $1.50. No, I'm gonna look up what this material, which is fiberglass. It's not ivory. You can't sell that stuff if it's ivory. It's plastic. It really is. I'm gonna see what this material, right? I'm gonna have a different strategy looking up what this would be priced, right? Pretend that I couldn't find it in any other comps. What does this material look for? I'm going to look for something similar, a statue, and then I'm typically going to price it very high in comparison to what I paid for it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I mean, you know, there are, like I said, there are certain people who they say, you know, well, I will only buy an item if I can make 5 times, you know, my money. Well, again, you know, that's okay in a used market, you know, in an RA market, that's not easy to do on every single product. You know, yeah, maybe if you find something on clearance at Walmart, or if you find something at, you know, a discount store that's brand new, you know, yes, maybe you can. But, you know, a lot of times you're not going to be able to do that. You know, if you're gonna, there's not a lot of times where, you know, like you would mention switches, right? If you had a pricing model of is as I only go at least 5 times my money, you would never buy a switch.
Right.
Because you ain't selling a switch for $1,800. I mean, you could list it for it, and it'll sit out there until you know we live in a country where, you know, where milk is free and pigs fly.
Hopefully around Christmas time they're going for $800.
Not 800, not 1,800.
No, I'm saying 18. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, there's certain products where you can't have the same pricing model on every single thing that you buy.
Right.
You have to look at the product. The product has to help dictate what you're doing at that point in time. But don't be a freaking lowballer.
Or stay out of retail arbitrage. It ain't your game. I mean, just honestly, if you're worried about it, I mean, go to your Goodwills, go to your yard sales, get something that you're comfortable at, because if you're uncomfortable, you're going to make mistakes, and you're not only harming yourself, but you're harming other people. I mean, you're harming other people's business models and stuff. But that's one of the problems with eBay is that, unfortunately, is that people can, I mean, it's real easy to follow other people and see what they're selling. And that's what we were talking about before we started talking about the pool thing. Well, hell, I mean, everybody, I mean, as soon as you see somebody selling pools, you went, oh, what else are they selling? You know, and then you get into this item or that item. And next thing you know, so when you get into an item that you find through RA on eBay, you've got to hit it. You've got to hit it quick, and you have to be careful after that. You can't go in and look at a person's completeds and see that they sold 14 widgets 2 weeks ago or six weeks ago, and then go out and try to buy those, because 6 weeks ago there could have been a shortage of those widgets. And if you go out and you buy them, and you're going to be stuck with them, or you're going to have to take them back. And then that's not even good, because that's why, you know, Walmart doesn't want, during COVID, they don't want you to go out and buy, you know, 20 items and then be like, oh, I couldn't sell these. Will you take them back? You know? So there's a lot of good business models out there. And if like you're not comfortable doing RA, that's completely understandable, because I can tell you, I've been selling for 20 years. And when I got into RA, I made a lot of mistakes, and I'm still paying for some of those mistakes. I've still got over $1,000 worth of Monopoly for millennial games, and that could be you. So you need to stick with the shoes, you know, at or Goodwill, and you know, go to yard sales and pick up some car parts and, you know, underwear, whatever else. That's a good place to be, because scared money ain't gonna make no money. You're gonna hold on to it, or you're gonna try to get rid of it, and then you're not only hurting you, but you're hurting other people.
Well, you're right. You're right there. But I think at the you know, with what you're saying with RA is true. Where the hell's everybody going? What did I do?
I'm just messing with you. I'm just Oscar disappeared, so I'm like, I'm just gonna mess with
Taking a vape break.
Now
vape on Mike's channel, so
now I forgot. Dang it. Music 55. I don't know if there is no disrespect on this channel. This is I do not feel that way. Everything is wonderful. All comments are welcome. The mods will take care of you if they got a problem. No, I'm just kidding. But but again, your model needs to be what is like a version of the Get Smart, rather than a shoe phone. John has a horse phone. Oh. Thank God. Thank God we're getting close to the end. No, but Alex made a good point about, he said, hey, if you're doing RA and you're in that 30-60%, then you're doing, that is, that's good. That's a good place to be and stuff, from that standpoint. But I don't know. It's a treat, Air Factory. Oh, is that what you're vaping?
Yeah.
That's your juice, man?
That's my custard.
My custard. Uh-oh. Please don't do that, because I don't know what, next thing we're going to see a horse. But pricing is, it's a person. I mean, it's funny. It's still, as much as it is, it's personal to your business. Be smart. Don't leave money on the table. Make sure you're doing what you have to do. Do your research. Definitely when you're pricing, you don't go by what is listed, because that's why in all the Facebook groups you see, man, what's going on with the pricing? Somebody has, Black Diamond VHS Disney's for $10,000. Holy cow. Somebody just gave me a free bin of them. Yeah. There's a reason why they gave you a free bin.
Yeah, that and the Princess Diana Beanie Baby.
Yes. Well, that's a big one. That's a big one. That is huge. So, I mean, be smart with your pricing. But again, it's your business, and you got to run your business your way, and don't get shamed into running don't get shamed into doing something that you're uncomfortable with. If you're about, spending and getting money back and getting some money back, and then, going back out and buying more, right? If you're more about turning product over and over, and that's how you're making your money, that's fine. Go ahead and do it that way. Are you going to get me in trouble by showing videos? Am I going to get demonetized now? Oh, wait a minute. I ain't getting even close. I could say a bad word if I wanted to. No. But, we've been going for about an hour. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up with some final words. And, John's watching other video, so you can go ahead and go first.
I'll go first.
Oh, ooh.
That's all right.
Yes, sir. You're up.
All right, cool. So this Saturday, Bad Boys of Reselling is gonna be a little bit different. I believe we're gonna have the show this Saturday night at 9 p.m. on My Flippin' Life, Jordan's channel. All right, so definitely, guys, tune in.
He's coming back.
He never went anywhere. Nobody believed us about the gopher videos. Everybody thought that we were crazy. We're just making stuff up. That he was out putting up electrified fences and the gophers were eating the petunias. It's all real. He's got a vlog to prove it now. All of the shenanigans he's been getting into. But this Saturday night, at 9 p.m. is going to be on My Flippin' Life's channel. But before we go, there's one thing I want to say, and it has to do a lot with pricing. It's like, I can't stress it enough, and I've said it a lot. You got to trust the data. You need to trust the numbers. You got to trust the data. Trust the comps. If you trust the rank of an item, that information that it's there. It's there for a reason. It's there to help resellers kind of have an idea what's selling hot. The solds. Trust those comps. Trust those numbers, because that's actual hard data that can help a reseller base their pricing strategy off of that data.
Excellent. Johnny?
Storage auction rookie. I looked over and he had me laughing, going Andy Kaufman on you. I've been working in the shop all day today, building a thing in the back there. Because at some point I'm going to eventually open the doors back up. Until then, it's just like my own massive Lego set in here. I just do different stuff all the time. But no, I really enjoyed the show tonight. I don't really have a whole lot to add on some of these because I am a traditional eBayer that sells a lot of used stuff. I can put in my 2 cents, which are free because that's about all they're worth. But I really do appreciate you guys bearing the burden on some of these topics like this one because I don't do a whole lot of that. And I really appreciate both of you guys a lot.
All right. So before I close, Kim had this question that I completely missed. I am very sorry for missing this question. But for struggling sellers, you suggest price competitively with best offer, sales, yes or no? If so, how often? eBay math is driving me to depression. Number one, no need to go ahead and get depressed about it. Don't sweat it. It'll wind up being okay. I go by, for me, best offer is based off of the price of the item and, in my opinion, the popularity of the item. If it's an item like a Switch per se, I'm not going to have best offer on it, right? If they're consistently selling for a price, I won't have that on there. If I find a used pair of sneakers, then yeah, I'll probably have best offer. So for that, also I try and stay away from best offer on, stuff that I may have for, for $19.99, $18.99. Usually, like if it's below $20, I don't necessarily go ahead and have best offer on that also, because that's, because that's when you get low ballers like myself. If you're gonna have best offer on an item for $15, why should I pay $15? That's why I look at it. Don't have best offer. If you want 15 for it, then have a 15. So best offer is completely up to you. Either one of you guys, one way or the other, before we close.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it all depends on the item, but I'm gonna say it again. Like, trust the data. Trust the data with the sold price. You're gonna price competitively based off of that data. Me personally, I have best offer on every single item, and I never accept the best offer. Never. But that helps. I feel that having that best offer, that engagement that you have with the buyer, that you receive an offer, you send an offer, you receive an offer, helps your item. I believe that helps. That will put your products in front of more buyers by doing that. If it's $1 off, $2, depending on the item, depending on the pricing as well, I may accept it. But I have best offers on it and never accept the offer. Never. Ever.
Never.
All right. And with that, again, thanks for everybody for coming out. If you haven't subscribed to our channels, the link is in the description. Please go ahead and do so. And what I would say, in closing would be, some horses will test you. Some horses will teach you. And some horses will kick the crap out of your head if you pull their tail.
Sounds like a lot.
Have a great evening. Don't forget Bad Boys on Sunday. Peace, everybody.
Good ride, cowboy. Good ride.